We are back, Fountain Valley, California, for game number 1. This is Sean Lenning and Killian Carroll. My name is Dave Vincent, alongside JT Hengy.
All right.
Is that Lieutenant, Sergeant? How does it go? Lieutenant?
Still Lieutenant right now.
Just Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Lieutenant JT Hengy. I want to make sure I say it correctly. One time I went to the doctor's office and
all right, everyone,
I called the doctor Gary,
Ireland,
and he looked at me and said, "Doctor."
Finalist Killian Carroll.
So I want to make sure I get your title correct.
Well, I don't go by that on the weekends though.
Oh, okay.
Or at handball tournaments.
Serve from Seattle, Washington, ranked number 3 pro, Sean Lenning.
And our referee is from El Paso, Texas, Danny Cordova.
0 serving 0.
Killian Carroll gets that first serve here. It's Carroll versus Lenning.
Side out.
And Sean Lenning, you don't know which one's going to show up here.
0-0.
Is it the one that said, I like to treat the rookies and show them what it's like on to play on the big boy tour? Or is it going to be that scrappy kid that we see Killian Carroll just make his way to the finals like he's been doing lately?
1-0.
Well, so I think I heard someone say these two have never played each other. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah. But Killian is a world finalist, and look at that shot from Sean Lenning. And you've played Sean, and you've walked out of the court thinking to yourself,
2-0.
I'm in a different world than this guy right here.
Short.
And my world is not one I want to be in if I'm going to continue to play this game. Because
Yeah,
Sean
he
has
has
a way of frustrating you.
He has a knack for putting you in that world he wants you to be in. And it's not where you want to be.
Sean is not on social media. He doesn't hardly ever even check his email, but he knows everything that's being said about him at all times. And so if he thinks there's too much hype
0-2.
for somebody, he'll come in and make a statement. That's been sort of his MO.
Side out.
I mean, we saw what Sean
2-0.
Lenning did to Martin Mulkerns in Salt Lake City a few years ago.
What happened in that one?
Well, Martin makes the finals of the Nationals. He beats Emmett Peixote in the earlier round, and everyone's
3-0.
talking about how amazing, because Martin was playing amazing, and he looked great. And so Sean said before the match, he goes, well, I'm going to show all of his fans what it's like here on the tour. And I thought that was, Sean doesn't talk like that. And then Sean backed it up. That was back in the 25-point format, and I believe Martin scored 3 points.
Oh, wow.
And I asked him about that later, and he said, no, I have nothing against him. He's the greatest guy in handball. It's just that I heard all the hype around how great he was, and I wanted to show him how great it is to play on the tour. I said, well, why don't you do that against a Brady or Moreno? And he said, I don't get up for that. I tick by, he's one of those guys that feels the atmosphere and then wants to react to it. So
wants to give a little shock and awe, huh?
4-0. Point.
And that's something you're going to see a lot of from Killian Carroll, diving for the ball.
5-0.
Oh, look at that ball I thought slid, but Sean hit it so hard it just eked past Carroll. Thought that was short.
Side out.
I agree with that.
The serve.
Well, Sean knows it was short.
Both disagree. Second serve. 6-0.
Score on the scoreboard should say 6-0, and does.
Point. Yeah. 7-0. Short. Second serve.
So something I think that ought to be interesting watching Sean and Killian duke it out is that, you often hear people talk about they get off the court after having played Sean and they say they're not even tired just because the rallies are so short. He's executing shots and not even giving you a chance to really stretch yourself. The rallies are just over before it gets to that point. But you see Killian, he's diving, he's making gets. He does that
9-0.
just as well, if not better than anyone else I've ever seen whenever it comes to making those gets and retrieving those balls that are typically rally-ending shots.
Right.
So I'm curious to see how Killian's able to pick up these shots that Sean usually ends rallies with against most other players.
Well, at the World Championships, Killian Carroll was down 3-16 against Luis Moreno and was diving all over the court. And you're thinking, why would you do that? You know, there's only 5 points. But then he ends the score about 13 or 14. And then in game number 2, he brought that same energy and beats him there and then beats him in the tiebreaker. And so, you know, there's something to say about just playing your game. I play a game that's a scrappy game, and I dive and I get balls. I'm a get artist, but I have a great back wall game. And he just stayed the course with his game plan. And because of that, he ends up picking off Luis Moreno. And I just wouldn't be surprised if we saw Killian Carroll stick with his game plan again and just stay as consistent as he possibly can.
That's kind of a trend I've noticed with Killian. Just the few times that I have seen him play is that he typically starts off slow. I'm not even sure if it's him starting off slow or his opponents start off hot, and then he slows them down and later on in the game. But whenever it does tend to be a closer game, see him falling behind in the score early on, but then he somehow manages to chip away, bring that lead a little bit closer.
Well, if you're diving, and you've played against guys like Anthony Celesto, where and well, yourself too. I mean, it's hard to talk about yourself, but Anthony Celesto, you're playing against him, and you have an open kill shot down the right wall, and you hit it, you kill it, but he dives in and gets it. So then you have him getting up from a mess in the ground on the right side. You have a good open lane on the left. You hit a perfect pass shot. He dives back, flips it to the back wall, gets it. Now you muff your big setup in the front wall, and you say, what do I have to do here? Eventually you start double guessing yourself, but ultimately he's also making you tired. Because you're doing this.
Second serve.
When you go for a kill shot, it takes a lot out of you. And I think Killian has a way, just like Muhammad Ali would be doing, it's just wearing you down. Even though he's doing most of the action and most of the diving, that's his body style. He's like a rabbit. And I could see him just always constantly pecking at you until you give up, and then he takes over and wins.
0 serves 10.
And look at this here. He hits that ball and tops it and keeps the ball down.
Point.
Yeah, I completely agree with that assessment.
1 serves 10.
And another part of that I think that factors in is that is what Killian does. He is used to doing that. He goes in any match that's going to prove to be any kind of difficulty for him. That is what he does. So he's used to doing that. Whereas, you know, players like Sean, Luis, they don't necessarily play against that style of play over and over again. So whenever they see it, they're having to adjust to it.
10 serves 1.
They're not used to having to hit as many rally-ending shots over and over again. And so, like you said, that eventually wears on you. You may try to overcompensate. You may just get tired. One way or another, it ends up taking off that edge that you have.
Killian stays down as long as he can till the ball passes him, then he pops back up. No big deal.
Kind of nonchalant.
Point.
It was nonchalant, but put in a perfect spot. Still, though, point called. Carroll, 2-10.
2 serves 10.
Here in game number 2.
Side out.
And that's what you can't do against Sean. Of all the top players on the tour that you've played, do you put Sean up there in the top 3 of the best serves that you've had to defend?
I would say so. I think that at least against what I've played, I think Sean's serve has been the most difficult whenever it gets hot. I think you know as well as anyone that
I refuse to play him because of that serve, so I know too well. If he was the last guy on earth and all we had was a handball court, I still wouldn't play him. I mean, why be miserable and still not get that serve back?
Right.
I asked him one time if we can actually play a game where he never serves. I'm sure we can find one. Look at all these inside-out shots from Carroll. Just keeps punching that ball back down the right wall. Is that part of a game plan?
I think he may just be trying to keep Sean over to that side until he gets a little bit better setup. You know, that's kind of more of an Irish trait, is that they're a lot more patient. They'll keep moving you around until they get the setup that they absolutely love, versus trying to force one that's only halfway what you want.
Point. Twelve serves 2. Short. Second serve.
Wow, that was an ace over there on the left wall. Flat crack, and anytime you see
13 serves 2.
your opponent having to dive for a serve, you know it was a good serve.
Replay.
Yep.
Replay.
That was smart. I've seen a lot of the referees call a replay there, and then the fans hate it. They're thinking, no, you know,
Short.
but Killian had to go around the big Sean Lenning.
Second serve.
Don't ever recall seeing Sean wear a knee brace before.
I hadn't even noticed that.
Well, I like to look at the accessories.
Point.
Sean just snaps that ball off the front wall, cracks over on the right side, another point.
14 serves 2.
You know what I can see in Sean's game right here, even though he's dominating, and he's doing it with some great offensive shots, he seems to be containing himself. When he's diving for a ball on one knee, he seems to get up. He's not overplaying it. He's not overexerting himself. He seems to be breathing through his nose. Everything seems to be much more calm, but yet the scoreboard looks like he's just in there blowing Killian out of the water.
And I like that a lot. I think that could be a huge determining factor in what ends up happening late stages of this game and going into the second game. You know, if he expends every bit of energy he has right off the bat just trying to score those points, Killian's not the guy that you want to go into another game without any energy.
7 of the 16 points have come off ace serves. And I guess that'll make you look contained. And there's now an unforced error from Killian Carroll.
17 serves 2.
Sean's just cracking this ball.
Side out. Two serves 17. Point.
Carroll finally scores.
3 serves 17.
After a huge drought.
And this is where Sean's got to be careful, because like we had talked about, Killian in the late stages of a game, after having a huge deficit, he can
timeout. That's your first.
easily start working his way in. I think that's a smart timeout by Sean. If he's not feeling it right now, maybe just take a minute to reset.
Yeah, sometimes your heart rate just bounces up there really quick, and it's too sudden. And Sean could be feeling it a little bit, that he needs to go out and just take a breather and get everything calm again. Sean's now doing yoga and a lot of Zen stuff to stay in shape. I usually, anytime I say the word Zen, I always finish it with the word stuff, because I don't quite understand it. So Zen stuff.
Just to make sure it's all encompassing.
Anything I don't understand always has the word stuff at the end of it. So it's my anniversary today. My wife's stuff.
I'm going to keep that in mind.
It's going to happen later tonight.
20 seconds.
Have the anniversary dinner.
I'm going to be able to call you out from here on out.
Wife stuff.
So that's today?
Today, yeah. 6 years.
Congratulations.
I haven't done 6 years of anything continuous in my entire life, so this is really a big thing.
Aside from handball and the marriage, huh?
Time in.
I quit handball. But
Score is 4
marriage,
serving 17.
Who would have thought that marriage would have lasted longer than handball? 4-17. And see, that's one thing Carroll does a lot of when he's set. You'll see him make those little errors up front.
17 serving 4.
Maybe trying to do too much.
Replay.
Oh, that's tough. It's a replay because Sean banked himself behind Killian, but
17 serving 4. Short.
Well, I think at that spot, that's about the
Second
smartest
serve.
thing Sean can do. If he does step to one side or the other, it opens it up for Killian to make an easy pass shot, and then there's no chance for Sean to get it back. Right there, he has a chance to get the shot back, and if the ball comes straight back at Killian, if it's not down, he gets the replay.
Replay.
Oof. So we're talking here with Lieutenant. Did I say it wrong again? Lieutenant J.T. Hingy?
You're getting there.
Okay, so let's just imagine it's a lieutenant. You are going to go on a helicopter across the Atlantic Ocean, or are you going to fly some other method and be bombed into? Where are you going? You're going to Afghanistan, is that right?
I'll be going to Afghanistan with my unit in December. We'll be there for about 9 months.
Wait a second, you just said fur instead of four, so you must be from the Midwest. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Oklahoma.
Okay, so that's why.
Born and raised in Tulsa. Went to school at Missouri State.
So you and Blake Shelton are pretty much from the same city.
We're pretty close, yeah. We bump into each other every now and again.
And how will you be getting to Afghanistan, or are you saying too much already? This isn't a special forces thing.
No.
This isn't like a mission. You're just going there?
I'm not that special. No, it's not a specific mission.
Four serving 17.
Be going over there and just continuing to provide some stability operations.
And you work
still trying to allow the Afghanistan people to get, establish their own government and their own ways of doing things. We're trying to slowly phase out.
People always talk about, you serving your country, but don't you think that our own government's kind of messed up back here at home, that we might can you not answer this question?
34.
I mean, don't we have kind of, do you ever watch the Hillary Clinton trials lately?
No, I actually haven't been. I've been actually a little bit too busy at work to have time to watch any of the debates and what's going on with all that. I mostly just hear some of the aftermath.
18-4 is the score here. Okay, so I know I'm not allowing you to answer because I know technically you can't, but I'm trying to get you to say something.
One agreed, one disagreed.
But
second serve.
Are you going across the Atlantic in a big plane, or are you going to be in a helicopter?
It'll be a plane going.
Because helicopters don't go across Atlantic, would they?
No, they won't make it.
Well, why do you say that with a smile on your face? Because there's some stealth helicopter stuff going on that I'm sure could make it.
I don't know. They're stealth. I don't know anything about them.
That's funny.
What's up?
I hate to get so political here, but I know that you got the inside scoop.
Lucho.
Do you work on helicopters? Are you a mechanic? What's your position?
So I work in an aviation battalion, and part of my job is I did go to fly school, so I do fly them. That's a small part of what I do.
How does it feel to be in one of those helicopters compared to being in the broadcast booth alongside me?
It's fun.
Which one's more stressful? Answering the Hillary Clinton question, or?
Well, some of those instructor pilots, they know how to put some good pressure on you. It's a legitimate learning technique. They do a good job of that.
And so, JT, did you qualify? You made it to a qualifier final. Have you technically qualified?
Yeah, so at the Salt Lake City, and I believe that was the Players' Championship this year.
You earned your stripes there.
Yeah, that was my first and only qualifier to date that I made it in, and that's where I wound up getting to experience Sean Lenning.
Yeah. Well, that's good. At least you did that in your career. Because you won't be playing any handball for 9 months, I'll tell you that.
No, it doesn't look like it.
And if you do, it's a different form of handball. Team handball. You might be the goalie wearing those Mickey Mouse gloves. In the meantime, though, we're here in game number 1 with a 2-minute glove change. As Sean Lenning is leading here in game 1, 18-4 against the world finalist, Killian Carroll, the Rabbit.
You guys ready? All right, 18, serving 4.
It's funny, the first 3 matches here on the show court, referees all from Chicago.
Side out.
And there's a quick side out after that. long extended break.
4 serving 18.
You might have to fly in Nikolai Nahorniak to ref this next one. I think we're running out of people from Chicago.
Yeah, there's only so many of them here.
We had Bill Mihalis and
serving 4.
Dane Zatkowski, and now implant Danny Cordova.
Point.
It's curious to see if Killian was going to be able to bring some momentum back. As of right now, it looks like Sean's keeping his foot on the throttle.
Side out.
But it is by no means over.
4 serving 19. Side out.
Is he going to forfeit
Towel.
here? What's going on here?
I think he's just asking for the towel.
Oh. I just don't think Sean understood what he said, so Sean had that look at his face like up to the referee like, what? I think he's quitting. Look how Killian sets up. That's really unbelievable.
It's a great view of that shot.
It really is. And trust me, you will be seeing that again.
Score is 19 serving 4.
19-4, you heard the referee call that.
Side out. 4 serving 19. Point.
Killian might be able to take advantage of
serving 19.
Sean slowing down just a little bit, see if he can get some momentum. Even if he's not necessarily able to make the full comeback this game, he can get some momentum going into the second game.
He said a bad bounce, front wall. Couldn't see. Disagrees. My call stands. Point. 6 serving 19. Side out. (19) serving 6. Point. Possible game point serving 6. Side out. Serving 20. Short. Second serve. Point. 7 serving 20.
Why did we hear that groan there from the crowd,
8
JT?
serving 20.
Just see that
Point.
perfect placement on that shot.
9 serving 20.
And I think we're kind of seeing what we've talked about as far as late in this first game. Killian really turning it up. He's just completely dominating it at this time.
10 serving 20. Side out.
And Sean knows, even though he's at 20 right here, he is going to have to close it out. He can't expect Killian to make
Possible
any
game
kind of
point
mistakes.
serving 10.
A player of his caliber could easily come in and score 11 straight points off of some serve and shoot rallies. There it is. But I think Killian scored there about 8 or so of the last 9-10 points.
And that's exactly what he did. As we look at that replay right there, and we're going to take a quick break, we'll get back with more action here in game number 2 and see if Killian can take a little bit of that momentum and bring it into game number 2 to see if he can try to force the hand of Sean Lenning. For JT Hengy, my name is Dave Vincent. We'll be back. We'll have game number 2 next here at racefor8.com. Stick with us.
At shelters, you'll discover healthy and loving animals just waiting to become a part of your family. Why wait? You can make a difference in the life of an animal. A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person and adopt your new best friend today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? Leave risky driving to the professionals. Stop the texts, and together we can stop the wrecks.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
Listen now, can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun?
Rethink what you know about this Vegas icon. Elevate your expectations at the Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower. See what's new, up, down, and all around.
It's Timothy Green's first day at school.
What's in there? He's about to fall over.
Anything he might need. There's a box of tissues on the bottom and some Band-Aids. There's a whole first aid kit, actually.
Mom, I can handle it from here.
You don't have to be perfect.
Have a great day.
That's too much pressure.
Have the day you have.
To be a perfect parent.
There are 2 people in the world who want you more than anything. They'll make some mistakes, but they will love you more than you can ever imagine.
There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
In 1905, Thomas Beverly Pennock settled out west to start a family construction business. Over 100 years and 5 generations later, T.B. Pennock & Sons continues on today. From our world-class concrete at the San Diego airport to our recovery efforts in New York after Hurricane Sandy, we take pride in what we build, and we will never forget who we build for. We are T.B. Pennock & Sons.
It's time to join forces. Get energized and fuel up right. Because starting today, every kid in America has a mission. Bring out the action hero. in you. Be part of the greatest action movie ever. The first movie that puts you in the action. Show us how you train and eat like an action hero. Join in at actionheroalliance.com.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
We are back here for game number 2 as we certainly have this amazing match where Sean Lenning won game number 1, 21-10. He was up about 18-2 at one point against Killian Carroll. But Carroll did what he did at the Worlds and so many other tournaments where he just kept pushing it and pushing the envelope a little bit and forcing Sean to make more shots, and then Killian started pecking away. And now we'll see what happens here. Will Killian go on that same sort of tear, or will Sean continue on?
We'll see. Sean was looking kind of slow there towards the end of that second game. He made some shots to finish it out, but they were a little bit more few and far between than he started out early on in the first game.
All right, start the second game. Sean serves first. Zero serving 0.
So we'll see how it progresses, but early on I think we're going to see a little bit more back and forth between the two.
Wow, that was a nice get from Sean Lenning and put away, though, from Killian Carroll.
And so already we're seeing that first volley was a
0-0.
little bit longer volley, and those are kind of more what Killian's wanting. As we talked about Sean, he wants to keep those volleys as short as possible. He wants to kill it at the earliest opportunity. Even at the risk of putting it in the floor, he would rather put one in the floor every once in a while rather than drag it out.
Right.
Both agree.
Knowing that more often than not he makes his shots.
2-0.
Score 2-0, game number 2. The deuces are wild on the scoreboard.
3-0.
Now Killian looks really good. Got a weak return there from Sean Lenning and just hit a Paul Brady style mid-waist drive down the left wall. And you can see a huge difference here between the Killian that walked in early and this Killian that scored 5 straight points in game number 2. And he's doing exactly what he did at the World Championships. Loses game number 1 against a top American player, but fights when he could have given up, but doesn't.
He's the feeling of bad bounce on the back wall. I didn't see it.
That was the little lip down there.
He says he's got a good view of it, so I'll call it a bad bounce. Bad bounce.
That's so tough to call, isn't it, JT?
I couldn't really see.
Yeah, because
he got a good view and called it
even
bad
from
bounce.
that view, I wasn't sure if it necessarily hit the lip, or sometimes whenever you get that topspin on the ball, it'll hit the wall like that, and,
well, there's a
and
little,
it comes up.
There's a little bit of cement down there at the bottom of that glass, and the ball definitely jumped up a little bit after it hit it.
Point. $5-0.
So Killian's coming out of the gates with a completely different mindset than he did in the first game. He's going to try and basically just run Sean over this game. He doesn't want to allow Sean to even feel like he's in this game.
Well, you don't fly walked doorstep to doorstep 24 hours to get here just to lay down. And if that means Killian's going to have to give 110, then that's what he's going to do.
0-5.
This is how hard Killian is right there. Sean made a good shot, and Killian tracks it down. Again, he does it again. And trust me, he would have dove in there if he knew that he could put a hand on it. I mean, that's...
1 serves 5.
Sean's giving it everything he can here. That ball should have passed Killian. Somehow gets the ball back. Sean this time says, I'm going to go over the top of this ball to keep it down.
Killian has got a lot of heart, a lot of speed, and a lot of stamina.
Oh, what was that?
Side out.
A lot of times you see players, they'll start slowing down in the middle of the rally. You can tell they're exhausted. Killian, you'll see him in between rallies.
Foul.
You can tell he's breathing hard. You know, he'll have his hands on his hips, but during the rallies, I hardly ever see a difference in whenever he's tired versus whenever he's fresh. And that's just that determination.
This is game number 2. Sean Lenning wins game number 1, 21-5. Sean definitely came out on fire, just like we're seeing from Killian Carroll here. The same sort of verve. I know they use big words like that in the Army.
6 serves 1.
So that's why I have that vernacular with you, JT.
I'm with you.
Point. 7 serves 1.
Another great shot by Killian.
Timeout, that's your first. Scores 8 serving 1.
Well, we're going to take a timeout too. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Stick around. More action here at racefor8.com coming up.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Here we go. We're gonna make some juice.
It's gonna be good.
She's excited. A little bit of kale.
Please don't put this on.
I'm putting it all over the line.
It's wet. It needs something. No, it'll go.
Don't break my juicer. Looks good.
You ready to try it?
Come on, baby.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
It's okay.
Okay, all right.
They might surprise you.
She took another sip. You saw it?
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
Side out.
You know, when you watch these two play here as we come back from the timeout, it almost looks as if we're watching in kind of a fast-forward mode where you're speeding up the action. Killian is so quick in the court, and Sean makes these really crazy quick jabs with his hands. And from back here, sometimes it looks like they're actually sped up just a little bit.
Side out.
It's not like watching Dave Chapman play Tony Healy.
Right, I think that's just part of the game is that they're just trying to speed it up to overwhelm their opponents, especially whenever they're playing anyone aside from the top 5 to 10 players in the world.
Well, I would
just
try
that speed alone is enough to win them matches elsewhere.
When I try to speed up the game, I overwhelm myself.
Reap, that's a point. Point. Sorry, that's a point, Killian.
Referee called a point there.
I mean, a side out.
Almost said replay, but didn't quite stick with
serving
it.
9. Short. Second serve. Point. 2, serving 9.
See Sean trying to get right back in the box and keep that momentum going. Killian makes a hand error, and Sean wants to keep moving up, keep trying to get those quick points.
The ball just clipped Sean on the way up. It's been a lot of handball here, and we've only seen 11 points. But Sean, you know, if you weren't looking at the scoreboard, you would guess he has about 6 or 7, but he only has 2.
Side out, appeal to serve. Both disagree. Second serve. Second serve.
That's the second time we've seen Sean get a second serve overturned.
Side out.
And I think Killian Carroll is
9 serves 2.
kind of the new breed of what I think handball has kind of become, which is the scrappy guy like yourself that can not only get the ball but also have good form and
Side out,
make those
serve.
elite shots. So
Disagree.
have a lot of stamina, diving all over the court, wearing down their opponent.
Serve,
not playing like Paul Brady, not playing like Toddy Severa, where you're hitting the ball 400 miles an hour, 1 inch high, but able to dive, get the ball, hit the left and the right consistently. Kind of a scrappy version
10, serving
of
2.
Tony Healy.
Slide. Slide.
And JT, you're kind of that style too. Get artist.
Couldn't see.
But unfortunately for you, you will be getting a lot of sand in your eyes
I thought I hit the line. Second
over
serve.
the next 9 months when you're doing a tour in Afghanistan.
Yeah, I'll have to remember to bring my sunglasses.
Now, I had a conversation with Jason Bourne earlier today, and for those that don't know who that is, that's Andy Shad. And I said, Andy, can't you do something for our guy here, make a couple phone calls back to Washington? And he said, no, I mean, he seems like he wants to go. He seems happy about it. Or else I would have.
Well, you know, I personally haven't gotten out of North America ever, so it's going to be a good little change up for me.
Sure.
I don't mind getting around, and then
11 serves 2.
I'll just pick up handball again whenever the opportunity arrives.
Look at that shot. That's unbelievable, really. I mean, a get artist still able to make this amazing shot. Look how beautiful Killian Carroll looks when he stops, pops, drops,
12 serves 2.
and the ball rolls.
Very deliberate and
it's just a beautiful shot.
Very well executed.
Side out.
Very lopsided games today. We've seen some really crazy things. Luis Moreno down 5-16 or 5-15, comes back and wins.
2 serves 12.
Then he finds himself down again, 20-5. Actually 21-3, loses that second game, but then down 5-0 in a tiebreaker where he comes back and wins. 11-6, 11-7. Sean Lenning up really big in game number 1. Now finds himself down really big here in game number 2. Emmett Pachot was down 16-4 against Robbie McCarthy. Just crazy up and down scores.
Side out.
And if you think the score line is crazy here in the quarterfinals, you go look at the score line from the 16s and the 32s over the week
He couldn't see it.
leading
He
up to
could've
this.
gotten
When I was looking at the bracket, trying to figure out who I was going to be playing, what time I was going to play, I was just looking through all the names, and I was kind of amazed by how deep it goes. You know, having 32 players, how many of them are legitimate candidates to make it to the semis and the finals. You know, as early as the round of 16, you see some of the top players getting challenged.
Well, yeah, you see Nadi Alvarado lose to Dermot Nash yesterday. Second game, 21-3.
14 serves 3.
Isn't it odd that this game is turning out exactly kind of the way you said it would be? You know, that Killian's going to fight and just keep grinding down on you, and then you can take all of that amazing shot ability or shot making ability and just get closed out yourself. I mean, nothing's safe anymore.
3 serves 15. Short.
And as dominating as Sean Lenning was in that first game, he could very well get more dominated by his opponent in game number 2. I mean, I don't know if Sean could score 7 more points.
You can see Sean's just completely in get mode right now. He's not controlling the tempo. He's not controlling where his opponent's at.
I thought you had enough time to get
Killian's doing just the opposite. He's dictating where you see him in the center of the court. Sean makes a dive. And then Killian puts it across the other side.
15 serves 3. Point.
Wow. That was like 3 bounces. That's a kill shot on a serve.
It's tough to handle that.
I mean, you have to leave your feet on a serve. You know that
you're already behind.
Yeah, it's probably the best serve you've ever seen. And that didn't have any hop on it. See, I mean, Carroll just takes that shot and hits it right back into the same spot, but with less power.
17 serves 3.
Score here is 17-3. Nice little inside-out slider from Sean.
3 serves 17.
And does Sean just let this go and focus on the tiebreaker?
Well, me personally, I would like to think that I would want to keep fighting and make sure my opponent feels that presence there. I mean,
17.
Killian's only at 17 right here. You know, I think at about 18, 19, you start thinking, yeah, it's a given. But at this level, you've seen players pick it up, go 15, 16 straight points. All it takes is a little bit of a change of mindset as far as how you're going to dictate the rallies, and if they can just
glove change.
But you see, even when Sean has a nice open shot like that, his opponent's 38 feet back, and Sean is able to, you know, hit what is pretty much a perfect shot, and Killian's just an inch away from digging that back out. That tells you something. Even though Sean wins the rally, Sean now has to tell himself, I even have to be perfect, more perfect than this, and that pressure that you put on yourself against a get artist sometimes will take you out of your own game.
Absolutely.
Now, you don't play that many get artists, but when you do, I know you have to go through that yourself. You know, Luis Moreno's a get artist. You know, when you've played Anthony Celesto or, you know, some of these other guys. And, you know, most of the guys, Sean Lenning's a get artist in his own way because he stands up front and takes your shots away. So he's getting the ball before it should, you know, any other person on the planet would be getting it. So, you know, you've faced it. I've faced it. We've all been up against somebody where you say, I just have to be really good right now. And it's just sometimes it's too much pressure. But with that said, I don't even know if Sean ever feels pressure. It's a 2-minute glove change right now. And I think my philosophy on letting it go is Sean would have to score, at the time I said it, 17 points to Killian's 4 to take this. So if you honestly said to yourself, I think I should do this, why not just let this go and then say, I'll just, you know, if I can score 17-4 in my mind, I should be able to score 11-10 in my mind, or 11 to whatever the score is.
I can see your point, and that's what I'm saying. I think Sean might be more inclined to go with that approach. My personal philosophy would be that if you can get that momentum, even if you accept that you're not likely to take the second game and win it in 2, if you can go in with that momentum, make your opponent feel like they're back on their heels going into the third game, and you know, you can see the difference between who's dictating the rallies versus who's in retrieve mode. Right now, it looks like Sean's turning it back up and Killian's the one chasing it around.
It's interesting, isn't it?
And that right there, even though Killian wins that rally, it's a great shot. But that right there, that starts before the serve ever happens. You know, you make a conscious choice to say, okay, I'm going to put my opponent back. I'm going to get them in the back of the court, get my setup, versus the mentality of, okay, I got to try and get this serve back. Those are two very different things, especially at this level.
And I'm going to play aggressive. You know, just playing aggressive or more assertive can kind of light a fire under
Short.
you. Sean obviously has flipped the switch into that mode that he wants to play more assertive.
Second serve.
I just worry sometimes you make that big climb up the mountain and you get to about 18 and lose, and now you just completely are tired. And I don't think Killian has ever been tired. So
I'll agree with that. In the meantime, he's having to work to try and close out the second game. You see him diving right there and then chasing this ball all the way back to the back left corner.
Killian's going to be the only person in handball to have a knee replacement before he turns 25.
Short.
He actually has hit the ground now 23 times in this match, which is just unreal.
Is that all?
23. I know, it seems like 43.
But he does it with a purpose, too. You see a lot of guys that are diving around, making desperate attempts to get the ball back, and then their opponent just kills the next shot. But Killian will keep it alive. He's going to make Sean shoot it over and over again until he either hits a shot that Killian can't get, or he puts enough pressure on himself that he puts it into the floor.
Side out.
It's amazing. I mean, he's scrappy.
17 serve 7.
And he skips that ball in. Killian Carroll from County Cork. Sean Lenning now living in Pima County. P-I-M-A.
Side out.
And I know, JT, you're not a county guy. You just go by states and cities, but
17 serve 7.
he's in the 3rd voting district as well, Sean Lenning.
Okay.
I go by voting districts.
Bad bounce.
Well, you don't want to limit yourself to
what everybody else would know.
Right, exactly.
17 serve 7.
I think with you in the booth, I try to stay a little bit more political.
Slide.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Serve 7.
Since you are serving our country
Short ball.
and fighting for our freedoms and security as part of
Second serve.
Team America World Police. And see, when Sean leaves his feet, he doesn't make it to the front wall. Killian just does it sort of like a back wall. It's just part of his game. It's like Killian has Sean frustrated here.
You think Killian dives out of bed when he gets up in the morning?
Yeah, I think he dives in
dives
and
into
out.
his clothes.
Yeah. I actually think
that's a good way to start in the day.
I think he lives in the water. He's just swimming out on the court there. He dives so much. Should be a lifeguard. Now living in Boston, Mass. Is Killian. Trying to get a visa to come to America, in fact. And he will be at every single race stop on the tour this year. He said he'll be on every single one until the visa runs out, that is.
He'll be a fun addition to the tour. I expect to see him.
Finals pretty much every time.
Well, at the rate he's going, I mean, he went from, at least in my book, could be that I was living under a rock, but I didn't know his name prior to him winning the Canadian Nationals. I was actually texting Luis Moreno asking how it was going, and he said, yeah, this guy, Killian Carroll, beat me. And I was like, I mean, not to disrespect him. He's obviously an outstanding player, but basically my answer was to that was, who is he? Like, who is that guy?
Yeah, I think everybody was doing that for a while there at the beginning. But if you watch any of the World Championships from 2012 and you saw that opening round against Brady, they put this young 16, 17-year-old kid in there, and you say, oh, okay, here's somebody that we're going to have to put our sights on. And he was amazing then, and it's obvious that he's amazing now. Look, he gets that ball and kills it. JT, that's unbelievable.
It's just part of his repertoire.
I mean, that right there is unbelievable.
19, play 7.
First of all, he shouldn't even get his hand on that. Secondly, he went for a rollout.
Bad bounce, bad bounce, bad bounce.
And Sean decided to show Killian what he would have saw if it wasn't a bad bounce.
I think most players right there, once they see that bad bounce, they just kind of discount it and let it go. I think Killian, that's just part of his mentality, is he's going to get that ball and he is going to get it back. So that's just his natural instinct, is to go for it, get off his feet and make his shot.
I think Killian has part Labrador Retriever or Golden Retriever blood or something like that.
He's absolutely got the speed for it.
19, play 7. Point.
A little misdirection there.
Inside out, which you will see a lot from Killian.
Possible game point, serving 7.
And a game point here. Did Sean get that? And he did.
Looked like he rolled it.
That was the craziest little stiletto right corner kill. I think that
7,
catches the
serving
side
20.
wall before the front wall from up front. That's almost impossible. And even in defeat, Sean Lenning is making crazy shots.
Side out.
Now Killian
Possible game point, serving 7.
trying to force this tiebreaker here. And I think he just, no, Sean got it back. And there he is. Sean is actually going to appeal a bad bounce on the roof, I
Appeals
believe.
a bad bounce on the ceiling. Couldn't see. Agrees with my call.
That's a
Second
different
game.
Sean than we grew used to seeing there for a while, where even now at 20-7, he's still trying to fight to stay in this
Not bad
game.
enough.
He's not ready to let it go just yet.
We are going to take a break. We'll be back in 5 minutes for game number 3, the tiebreaker right around the corner. Stick around here for the conclusion at racefor8.com.
This is one amazing truffula tree. Can you imagine a place where these grow everywhere? Yes, it's called the forest, a magical place to enjoy with your family. So discover the forest and explore all the wonder that's there. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's one every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
The Tucson Racket Club is your home away from home. Join us for world-class tennis, handball, racquetball, and the new rage, pickleball. Or try one of our 160 weekly group exercise classes. Want to swim laps or play with your family in the pool? Enjoy our 2 junior Olympic-sized pools and wading pool that are open year-round. Then round out the perfect day with a delicious meal at our restaurant or sports bar. All at the Tucson Racket and Fitness Club, where Country Club Road ends and fitness begins.
Get a remarkable clean with non-toxic and biodegradable Simple Green All-Purpose Cleaner. Use straight from the bottle on heavy grime or dilute the concentrated formula to make up to 44 bottles of daily cleaner. Safe for all washable surfaces, Simple Green can be used indoors and out. From kitchens and bathrooms to living and play areas, countertops and floors to furniture and clothing. Keep your home and our world clean with Simple Green.
We are different. Society should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at ActionHeroAlliance.com.
$7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
So, what's it gonna be? We could ride bikes, skating, movies, zoo, whatever you guys want to do.
Can we just do this?
Yeah. We could just do this.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards!
Oh, don't. Oh.
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay, here it goes.
Oh, Mom!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you. Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
Get a remarkable clean with non-toxic and biodegradable Simple Green All-Purpose Cleaner. Spray straight from the bottle on heavy grime or dilute the concentrated formula to make up to 11 bottles of daily cleaner. Safe for all washable surfaces, Simple Green can be used indoors and out. From kitchens and bathrooms to living and play areas, countertops and floors to furniture and clothing. Keep your home and our world clean with Simple Green.
right. Time in. Killian serves second game. Third game, sorry, tiebreaker. 0-0.
We are back here for game number 2 at 0-0. Killian Carroll gets that first serve. Dave Vincent alongside Jonathan Hingy and JT. We're going to 11 here. Does that benefit Sean or Killian?
I would say my initial thoughts would be that would benefit Sean.
0-0.
I think he's more likely to get on those quick runs, and Killian, I think, thrives from
Replay.
drawing him out and getting into the heads of his opponents. Not to say that Killian doesn't have the ability to execute. Obviously, he got to 11 a lot quicker than Sean did last game. Sean only got to 7 last game. So,
slide.
All things taken into account, I don't necessarily know that just going to 11 really benefits either of them at this point.
0-0. Point. One serving 0. Side out.
Killian coming in at 0-1. Both of them definitely coming out of the gates trying to get that quick lead.
0-1. Slide. Serving 1. Replay. Oh, hit him. Point.
That's true. He did.
I do agree with that.
Referee did say replay before the ball hit Sean. And that was a good almost 2 seconds before. But Sean didn't argue after that. Sean didn't argue after that, knowing that I think that he knew he was going to get hit either way.
Dryer thing?
The dryer thing. So they got a leaf blower that they're using to dry off the courts.
That's actually a shop vac, but here in this world of everything has to be bigger, this is like the old 80s shop vac that they would, before you were born, JT, trust me. They used to hang on your wall and you'd clip them in. Look at that thing. You're watching the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball in Fountain Valley, California. Non-toxic, Simple Green all-purpose cleaner easily handles the toughest spills, splatters, stains without harsh chemicals. Try it, and if you're not 100% satisfied, they will refund your money back. This leaf blower session has been brought to you by Simple Green Cleaning Products. Surprised there isn't a Simple Green sticker on that leaf blower.
I was wondering if maybe, maybe
you see
if they had one they could throw on there. I was just thinking that.
I don't know if we have that on replay, Jeff, but the Simple Green guy just blew off Sean Lenning there as he walked out the court, which probably feels good.
1-1. Side out.
Flat roll from Sean Lenning.
1-1. Short ball. Bad bounce. One straight down, yeah. 2 serves. Replay. One. Point. 2-1.
Now we're at 2-1 here in the tiebreaker.
Both Sean and Killian working really hard to keep their opponent out of position right now.
Check the floor, please.
both trying to stay aggressive, both trying to dictate the rallies.
3-1. Short. Second serve.
Nope. Killian Carroll calls it. Sean gets his 4th point. I don't think an 11-point format would benefit a guy like Killian Carroll who needs space. If this game was played to 35, Killian would be the #1 player on the planet because he's just going to wear you down. Not to 11, it makes it much more difficult, I think.
I agree.
Second serve. Point.
And I think Sean knows that about his opponent too, and I think he's definitely going to try and take advantage of that.
Ball.
Only having to get to 11 points.
Second serve. Point.
Sean told me one time that he felt like all games should be to 11.
His style of play, I can definitely see where he would want it to be that way.
Side out. Bad bounce. You see a bad bounce? Feels a bad bounce. Couldn't see. He sees a bad bounce.
I think for Killian to be successful right here, he's got to really try not to start overplaying these shots, not trying to compensate for the difference in the score here. Or he might start making some unforced errors. He's got the focus on the determination, though.
All right, 6, serving 1.
I think in a game to 11 between the two of these players, regardless of what the score is, it's never quite over until that last point scored. I know that's cliche.
That's true, especially with Carroll.
Second serve. Side out.
Now I believe Mondo Ortiz and Paul Brady will be up next.
1 serve 6.
Mondo likes to get up for these type of matches, and I think
Point.
Sean is also going to, Paul is going to try to counter that because he knows that Mondo gets something out of it.
Yeah, I think both of them are going to be taking this match very seriously. Mondo plays his best whenever he has something that he feels like he's getting in there to prove something, you know, versus getting in there against an opponent that he might feel people won't necessarily notice if he wins or loses.
If we get a slow-mo replay of this, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. If we get a slow-mo, you're going to see an incredible shot from Sean Lenning, but go ahead about that Paul Brady.
I was just saying, I think that Mondo going up against someone like Paul Brady, and we've seen this, we saw it in Salt Lake City a couple of years ago, where he just gets completely psyched. He doesn't think about anything else but that match. And that's what gives him that edge. That's what allows him to play so well, to play at the top of his level.
Second serve.
I feel like when you play the #1 player in the world, if you don't do it, it's a disservice to the game in a way. Say, you know, I just have to play as hard as I can. I'm not going to come out here and lay an egg, give up and be mad at myself.
Right. And on the other hand, Paul knows exactly what Mondo's capable of, so I don't see him going in there thinking it's just going to be a steal. He knows he's going to have to work for it.
Well, he doesn't do that with anybody, but certainly he's
7, serving 3.
another one like Sean Lenning, not really all over social media, not really into the email thing, but he seems to know everything that everyone says about him, and he watches every match. His public awareness is amazing. And he, too, doesn't like to feel like he's disrespected, especially if he feels like he gets a tough draw. He'll even, you know, send a message. It's like,
8, serving 3.
talk about personal inner strength. 8-3 here, going to 11. Winner will advance to the semis. And it was Killian Carroll who made it to the finals of the Worlds this year. with his play.
3 serving 8.
And Sean's going to say, well, the next tournament you play, I'm going to try to make sure you don't make it past the quarters. And for the most part, Sean kind of displayed that until the second game came along. I don't know how Carroll does it, but he drops down to one knee, which he's already low enough when he hits the ball. But now he wants to be even lower, and he's not going away.
Short ball.
Well, like you said, he didn't come all this way to
Second serve.
just give up whenever he's a few points behind. He's still very much in this game, and he's still very much a threat to Sean. Sean now has missed a couple opportunities. I think the last time he had the serve, he had a good shot at a serve and shoot. He ended up going for the pass, and Killian finished that rally off right there.
Side out.
Killian went for the
8 serving
perfect
4.
shot. He might have overplayed it. Might have just had a misstep. Not sure. I think given that opportunity again, though, he would go for that exact shot.
Foul.
There hasn't been a lot of towel timeouts here, as we've seen with some of the other matches. And I think it's just sort of the style, you know. With this one and the one before it, there were moments where we didn't see any slides or any use of a towel, and then there's been other moments where it's every play ends in that, and I think it's really just the players themselves. They have wet shirts or they dive more. I mean, Killian's diving as much as anybody on the planet, and yet this court, maybe he's cleaning it up because he's not even sweating. His shirt might be just gathering it.
Serving 4.
Maybe he's the best thing for handball. Look at that.
Point.
Dive number 32. Pretty impressive.
Well, now he's calling for the towel.
Well, that's because I brought it up.
Naturally.
Where would we be without me? What in the world? Oh, sorry. I didn't know I said that live.
9 serving 4. Short ball. Second serve.
See Sean kind of taking his time. I don't know that it's necessarily that he's exhausted. I think he's really just trying to take his time to get set up. And
I think he's trying to soak this in. A little TV time.
Second serve.
I don't think he's been shorted on that. There it is.
Sean Lenning does it.
Finishes it in style.
And we'll see an instant replay of this, and you're really going to like this as Sean Lenning takes a round of applause from the crowd. Watch what Sean does. He comes back, but watch how he plants his feet and goes over the top of the ball to keep it down. Perfect shot down the right wall. Sean Lenning advances here 11-4 in the tiebreaker. He will now go into the semis as we get ready now for Paul Brady and Mondo Ortiz coming up next. For JT Henge, my name is Dave Vincent. I want to say thanks to the crew, Linda Manning. We have Samantha Kocher. We have Matt Titano, Lolita DeVincent, Gene Kastner, Jeff Kastner, Chris Garrad. If I didn't say his name, I like to say his name twice just because he's that good. We'll have more coming up. It's the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball back at Los Caballeros Sports Village for the last men's quarterfinal singles match of the day here on the Race for 8 Tour. And we'll give it to you in about 10 minutes or so. Stick around here at racefor8.com.
Get a remarkable clean with non-toxic and biodegradable Simple Green all-purpose cleaner. You can use it straight out of the bottle on tough grime or dilute the concentrated formula to make multiple bottles of daily cleaner. Safe for all washable surfaces, Simple Green can be used indoors and out, from kitchens and bathrooms to living and play areas, countertops and floors, to furniture and clothing. Keep your home and our world clean with Simple Green.
somebody as talented as this.
They're there for a reason, so I got to go in there ready to play.
Now it's 11-11. The winner will win the cup, and it all comes down to this.
Everything on the line on this point, Dave, all season for 1 point.
It's Juan Santos again. It's Juan Santos again. It's Juan Santos.